Hello and welcome to another episode of DyerTimes. I'm your host David Dyer, and here with me I have Kayla Painter, student, model, and we're going to be taking a look at the Eagles Nest Outfitters OneLink Hammock System, which is absolutely one of my favorite camping items because for two people, you have literally everything you need, all but a couple trees. So let's go get this out on the table and take a look at it.
Let's go.
Awesome. Okay, so Kayla, have you ever actually fooled with any kind of hammock systems or anything like that?
No.
So are you like more of a tent camper?
Usually that's what we use.
For me, as far as hiking and camping and things like that, I prefer the OneLink system because it gives you the versatility of a tent, you know, in essence, because you have a Rainfly, you have a bug net, you have the hammock itself, and it gets you up off the ground, so you're not sleeping on that cold, hard ground, which is really kind of the selling point for me. So let's pop this thing out of here and take a look at it. Now this is actually how you get it when it comes in the mail. Like it's going to be in a box, but it's just going to be contained like this. And everything that you need is actually in this bag. So let's just go ahead and pop all this out. All right, so the most important part of this, of course, would be the hammock itself. Now, the really unique thing and the great thing about the OneLink system is you have a lot of customability of this on Eagles Nest Outfitters website. So when you go there, you can choose the color of your hammock, you can choose what type of Rainfly, you can choose what type of straps, so you have a lot of options built into that. The hammock itself is made of a breathable nylon, which means in the summertime it's going to keep you nice and cool, and in the wintertime, if you wrap it completely around you, you're still going to be able to breathe a little bit. I mean, obviously, you know, you want to be careful and you know your own limits kind of thing, but I like it because I can actually throw one side over and it makes this little cocoon pea pod type thing, and it's very nice and very warm. But all the stitching in this hammock is actually triple stitched, not double stitched, but triple stitched, which makes it even stronger. Now you pair this with the straps that actually put it to the tree. So all you really have in this bag, which we'll get out and take a look at later, is the hammock, the aluminum carabiners that actually attach to the straps, and that's the hammock. Now the straps themselves, you have three different options when you pick your straps. What I have here is actually the Atlas straps. Now, these are $5 more when you build on your list, but they offer a lot more versatility and comfort, I believe, when hanging your hammock. Because you'll notice as you run up the length of this here that there are multiple attachment points. And the slap straps, which are actually the ones that I have with my hammock because I've had it for a number of years and have yet to upgrade, they'll only have like a loop here and a loop here and a loop here. So it's kind of like you have a foot between, so it's either really tight or really loose. And this gives you the option to really fine tune that hammock for both comfort and to get you and keep you off the ground. So this setup between the hammock and the straps can support about 400 pounds. So that comes in handy because this is actually a double nest hammock, and a double nest hammock kind of plays on the whole Eagles Nest Outfitters thing, is meant for two people. So we'll show you how you can sleep two people very comfortably in the double nest. Now the single nests are okay for an individual, you know, it's nice, but me personally, I always buy the double nest even if I know it's just going to be me, because that gives me plenty of room to spread out and you know, sleep and be comfy. Okay, so in addition to the hammock, the straps, you also get your dry fly, which is your rain covering tarp, and you have a lot of options with this as well, with different shapes of tarps. They're all relatively the same as far as stitching and material. They do a great job. You can adjust them if you know it's going to be a bad storm. You can make it closer, and it helps keep the wind off you a little bit as well. Now, along with this, you actually get a little baggie here, which you can hear it jingling around, and these beautiful blue aluminum Easton stakes, which work with the guy wires on your Rainfly to keep it cinched down nice and tight around you. So that, and then the Bug Net Guardian, which is not so important this time of year. You'll notice it's fall-ish and the bugs are pretty well done for the year. But if you're in a swampy area or it's the middle of summer, this is going to save your life. You're going to wake up mosquito-free opposed to a pincushion hanging in a hammock. And we'll get this out and show you how that works in addition to the rest of this. And lastly in the bag is a 4-step instruction on how to do this, but we're actually going to walk you through this here in just a second and show you how to set all of this up together. Now, the OneLink system, there is a lot of price variation, not a lot, but a little, with like these are $5 more, so you can play around a little bit with that, but it's around $220. So this whole system here is about $220. Now, if you bought all this individually, you're looking more like $240, $250. So you did get a much better break on the OneLink. It's also nice because for me, when I first got into hammocking, I bought the hammock and the straps. And then 6 months later, I went, how am I going to stay dry? Then I bought the Rainfly, and then summertime rolled around, and I was like, all these bugs. And then I bought the bug net. So, I ended up sinking a lot more money into it when I should have just bought it all at once. So that would be, the hammocks themselves, these are about $65. The straps themselves are between $25 and $30. So, already right there, just $100 more or so, and you make the commitment and not only stay dry, but bug free. So it's pretty excellent. But you have any questions so far, or we're?
It sounds pretty good to me. Fully customizable, great price. I'm ready to learn.
Cool. Well, let's get over. And the first step in setting up your hammock is finding the proper location. So let's go do that.
Okay.
All right. So in picking a location for your hammock, we want to find 2 trees that are pretty substantial. So 6 to 8 inches, something in this diameter. That are approximately 10 or 12 feet apart. So we're also looking for an area that is nice and already cleared out for us. So we don't have to clear a bunch of undergrowth or, destroy the forest or, the habitat within. So what do you think?
I think this looks like a pretty good spot. How about we use that tree and that one?
I'd have to agree. These both look like excellent trees. Now, an example of a tree that you would not want to use is this one right here. Can you tell me why?
It looks pretty dead and kind of flimsy.
Well, absolutely. If you tie to a dead tree and you hang your hammock in it, it could get real bad real fast. So we want to find nice, live, big trees to hang our hammocks from. So let's hang this thing up.
Okay.
Here we go. This is the hammock itself. It has this nice compression strap on top, which pops loose, and a cinch strap on the top. So we have our carabiner. I just tucked this under one arm. It's going to be up to you to put the strap around the tree. Now, the cool thing about these straps are they do not damage the tree. They're nice and wide, and the way they fit around the tree itself, they're not going to damage the bark or the wood underneath, so it won't cause the trees to have what they call wood death, which is pretty bad and kills at least half the tree. So, you're going to notice on our Atlas straps, there's one end that doesn't have any loops on it, and one end has a bunch of loops on it. Now, when we do this, you're actually going to take your other end and you're just going to put it through the end, and it's just going to go to the tree. Now, there's no solid, I guess, measurements for some of this stuff. Ideally, you want the hammock, 18 inches or so off the ground, so you're not waking up with your butt on the ground. So the way I do this, and everybody's going to have their own way, is I put my straps about head height, and you can see I've just barely pulled that tight, and it's going to hold just fine. Okay. So now that we have this one done, I'm going to hand you the other one. Midway point, and we can come back over here and just raise this up. Now, here's the other part. This is merely to comfort. So for me, I'm a little weird about this. What I actually do is I will pull it up completely tight like this, and I might even go even tighter than this, because I like my hammock nice and firm. So you can see how tight this is. It looks ridiculous. Like, how in the world are you going to get in there? I've seen some people, they'll put it up this tight and then they'll just loosen it a little bit. Everybody has their own way they like this. The good rule is the closer the trees are together, the more firm the hammock is going to be. The farther apart they are, the more spongy it will be. And you can also adjust that by adjusting your length here, because I could very easily adjust this down and have a much more soft, comfortable hammock. But like I said, I like mine a little firm, so I put it up nice and tight. Now, even though it looks like it's up here nice and tight, when you set it, it's actually going to kind of come into place. Now, we'll step to this side here. The sun's out. You'll notice that an Eagle's Nest Outfitters hammock has two colors, which you have these sides here, which are, in this case, are tan, and in the olive drab center. So these aren't just to make it look pretty, they also help when getting in and out of hammock. So if you want, grab it, and this is kind of exciting, your first time in a hammock.
Yeah, it really is.
So yeah, grab, and it's a commitment thing. So you want to take this part here firmly in both hands, and then just kind of scoop it under your butt. But it's a commitment. So at one point you just have to trust that it's going to catch you, just like that, and then just kick your feet around.
It's actually pretty comfortable too.
Not bad. Now, if you want to pull yourself up, you can grab up here.
Right here?
Yep, and then just pull your whole body up. There you go, just like that. And you can throw a leg over, whatever. It's very difficult to fall out of an Eagle's Nest Outfitters hammock. I've tried, and I've yet to be successful. So, and you can see there's absolutely plenty of room in there for another person. And there's two ways of doing it. You can actually get in, if you're real good friends or more, you can put both heads at the same end, or sleep, feet, head. And it's actually really warm to do that in the wintertime. Keeps your feet warm on both sides. So, all right, now, what happens if it starts raining?
Well, right now I'd probably get wet.
You would. So let's take a look at the ProFly and put that up over our hammock. Now that we have our hammock up, we can put our Rainfly up. Now, it is actually a little easier to put the hammock up first, then the Rainfly, and you'll see in a second, because we're actually going to drape the Rainfly over the hammock, and that's going to help us get it in position, to be perfectly over top of the hammock and on the trees itself. So this thing is in this nice stuff sack, and inside it actually has all rolled up, and it comes with all of your guy wires, and of course you have the stakes. So the great thing about this is we can get it in position, tie it up, and then it has these great little, let me find one, these things right here, they're like little ratchet straps, so you can actually pull these. They're on the dry fly itself, and when you pull them, they'll cinch it up, so we can actually take up the difference, so we don't have to keep pulling and adjusting on the trees at the tie points. We have them on the Rainfly itself, so it's pretty cool. So you can see it lays it out perfectly. Now all we're going to do here is just line up our ends with the ends of our hand. So you see where the carabiner is, and we're just going to come back, and I like to tie these just above where I tie the straps. Just like that. And you can pull it pretty much as tight as you want it. It's not going to hurt the tree any. The big thing is, as you can see, it just gets it up off the hammock. So now we have our ridge line in place, and we can start looking to tie our stakes in. Now, the same type of mechanism that's here is also here. So we can get it pretty close with the stakes and then make fine adjustments here on the piece itself. Do you have the stakes?
Yep.
Excellent. What I like to do with these, and you can come out, the wider you go, the less likely you're going to bump into this, and you'll have more room underneath. So I like to go at a good 45-degree angle. So I find about where the ground should be in the stake, and then I just make a loop around my finger, and I do it as small as possible, so I can take the top of the stake here and just pull it into play. So it's not actually on there, it can pop off, and they have holes in the stakes, so you may want to run it through there. I like the field expediency of it. And most of the time you can shove these in the ground with pretty ease, and that's not really about as tight as I would want it anyway. And you can see we're starting to pull a little off center, so you got to watch that. You may actually have to adjust these a little less. So let's go around and put all these up, and we'll have our Rainfly in place. All right, so we've got our hammock hung. We have our Rainfly over top of it. And you can see there's quite a bit of space in here, but you can have a lot more if you want, and that's all up to you. These are very dynamic, extremely versatile, so you can raise it up, you can change the angle, you can do a lot of different things. I've even seen people take and kind of do a straight out angle with some trees out in front and put some lawn chairs under here. So it's entirely up to you as to how you want to do it, as long as you do it safely. So I always get one question at this point.
Okay, so I know we're covered here and on the sides, but what about on the ends?
Well, that is a good question. And the hammock itself, this is going to keep it pretty dry. Now, sometimes moisture will get on here if you rub against it, just like in a tent, and you'll get wet. As far as this goes, Eagle's Nest Outfitters does make a little rain strip, which is just a little thing that clamps on the end here, and all it does is divert water down. Now, I've not got a chance to try those out yet. That is definitely on the to-do list and could make an excellent accessories video, which maybe this summer will do. But I found that these straps themselves do a great job in wicking away that moisture to the ground. And if that doesn't work and this gets a little damp, this fabric itself is excellent and it will dry very quickly. Even if it's kind of cold out, even just the wind blowing across, it'll dry, which is pretty awesome. So now that we have our hammock hung and our rain out, let's keep the bugs out.
Okay.
So this is the Guardian Bug Net, which keeps all the little critters away from you while you're in your hammock. Now what I did here is I actually just took the Rainfly and put the side over so you can kind of get a cross view of what's going on. You can actually have this up and put this up. It's no big deal to have those both, but I really want you at home to see how this works. So it's an integrated system, which means all these pieces are modular and they kind of fit together very, very seamlessly. So that, just like the hammocks, comes in a nice cinch sack with this little downward piece here. What's also great is you're going to notice about a lot of the Eagle's Nest Outfitters gear is all of your straps are connected to the bags. And what's even more neat, the bags themselves are connected to the product. So just like on the hammock here, the straps are connected to the bag and the bag is connected to the hammock. So there's nothing you can really lose here. It makes it very challenging to misplace stuff. And typically what I do too is, like, once the straps come out, I'll just put the straps bag in this bag and it keeps everything nice and neat. So this is our bug net, which, hang on to that for me, thank you. So this all works off a ridge line. And something I have found that is very important to know is this and multiflora rose, those little thorny bushes in the woods, do not go well together. So if you're putting up this in a high brush area, it can be a problem. Now this is completely enclosed and has a zipper in the middle, which we'll show how to get in and out here in a second. So this all works off a ridge line. And the ridge line is what you have in your hand right there. Just like we tied our Rainfly, we're going to do almost the same thing with that piece of string. Okay, so once we have our ridge line hung, and you can see it, it doesn't have to be real tight. All it has to do is keep this thing up. So as long as we're good. What you want to pay attention to is which side the zipper is on. And in this case, it's this side, which is the side we're going to get in and out of. And you can take that and just hang it right on there. So if you want to go down and find the little clips, you just hang it right along the ridge line. Just like that. Now, you're going to notice it's starting to bunch up on it, and this is actually working to our advantage, because what we have to do at this point is get the hammock inside of this. So what works out nice is they have these little cinch ends on this side, and you can actually reach through the hammock, and now since it's hung, it is much easier to do. So you just kind of pull your arm through until you get to the other side. Holes. Now it's completely around my wrist and on the ridge line. So if you will follow me, unhook that carabiner, hand me the carabiner. Now go ahead and pull that off my wrist and right around that hammock. Much easier with two people, but can be done with one person. Now you also have the option, there's actually holes through these, so you can run the cord through them directly if you have a problem these keep popping off. And on your end here, to maximize your bug keeping out ability, they have a little cinch here, and you can cinch that right up around your cords. Unzips in the middle, get in it just like you did without the bug net even being there. Grab the color piece there. This is a double zipper, so there's a zipper on the inside and the outside, and if you just lean forward, go ahead and zip it there. Now there's also two zippers, so you can keep these up where you can reach them and get out very easily. So when she lays back, she'll be completely protected inside this. And of course, this will be around her to also keep her dry. And that is the OneLink system. You could actually spend the night here and be quite comfortable, whether it's raining, whether the bugs are out, doesn't make any difference. You're going to be covered. So what are your thoughts on the OneLink?
I think it's really easy to set up. It's actually pretty comfortable. I've really never been in a hammock before, so I was pleasantly surprised at how easy it is to get in and out of.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you, it goes in the bags the same way it came out of the bags. So we're going to pack this up real quick and get over and wrap this thing up.
Okay.
Awesome. So we've had a lot of fun out in the woods. It was Kayla's first time with a hammock. It was even better, it was Kayla's first time with a OneLink system, because I think ENOs really are the best hammock out there on the market, especially for campers, hikers, people on the move. What are your thoughts?
I think it was pretty easy to set up and really durable, but the only thing is this weather. It's kind of cold, and I just don't know how I'd feel about sleeping in these clothes outside.
Well, I totally understand that, and Eagle's Nest Outfitters actually has a whole line of what they call their under quilts, which is this right here. Now, we didn't take a look at this today, but if you check back in February and click right here, then you'll get to see the video where we actually take these out. It's going to be snowy, it's going to be cold, and we're going to spend the whole night outside with just these and a OneLink system. So it'd be pretty cool, and you'll get to see how that shapes up.
Okay.
And if you'd actually like to check out some more of my channel, you can click here for some practical survival tips. You can click here for some self-defense tips, or you can click here for some just really interesting stuff out in the world that we're getting ourselves into.
You can also check out my Facebook page. I appreciate all the support, and the link will be down below.
Excellent. I was your host, David Dyer. This was DyerTimes. Thank you so much, Kayla, for joining us, and we'll catch you next time.
Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe.